what we've decided to start doing is coming out here on Sundays, if we can, weather permitting, obviously, Lord willing, and doing something different, rather than the just coming out here and you guys watching, 200 rounds go down range with what some people say, some loud music over it. Find a topic. Maybe you guys suggest a topic, like what would you like to hear us talk about? What would you like to hear? Like Sunday talks, if you will. Hitchcock's got, Sunday gun day, and so we have Sunday talks. And so, but I kind of thought recently, since, Amanda's been doing a lot more shooting on camera and people's been commenting about that and saying, what does she prefer? Why does she prefer that? Or I really like the female perspective on your channel, good shooting and so on and so forth. I kind of thought maybe a good idea would be to kind of go through the evolution of, what carry was or meant for her. So back when we first started buying guns, we still had kids at home. My business was just really getting off the ground, getting started. So naturally we looked more towards the budget friendly side of things. And we wanted something reliable, sure, but budget seemed in that time anyway to matter more. So we really couldn't afford the Dan Wessons and so forth of the world. So we go out, we buy our first gun, and she, just watching other videos and stuff, was a little concerned about recoil, even of a 9mm and so forth. And so she's like, I want something lightweight. I want something that doesn't, break a wrist, if you will. And, hey, let's face it, even though that was many, many years ago, I had never shot handguns really as a child either. So I was kind of a little sketchy too. So I ended up with a Glock 17 and she chose the Ruger SR22. I'm not exact. We're going to call it pink. I'm not exact. I know that they call that a different color. You remember what they call it?
I do not.
Yeah. Well, she picked this out. This is what she wanted. And listen, out of the 22 pistols that I've shot, this is probably one of my favorites. I've had the Walther P22. I've had several 22. The GX. I mean, no. Let's see. The TX 22, I believe it is, from Taurus. I like it. It's okay. But she chose this one. We took it out. We shot it. But as time went on, she would carry this around in her purse. It's not a super small gun. But as time went on and kids growed up, went to college, moved out, business started succeeding a little more, had a little bit more money, started getting, as she would say, a little more bougie. And she started shooting some more of my guns. I had some 10s and things like that. And she was like, you know, I don't know if I really, I want, maybe I want something different. You said this was a little, what'd you say? A little pew pew?
It's a pew pew. It's a 22.
Yeah. So now every time she sees a 22, whether it's a rifle, no, we're not getting that. That's a pew pew. That's what she says. She says it's a little. And hey, listen, I'm not here to debate and argue about that. But you also said that it was a little difficult to put in your purse.
Yeah, it was a little larger than what. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bigger than what you wanted. Hard to find. By the time she put it in a a holster and put it down in her purse, it was just a little too big, and it was a pew pew. So as she began to learn more about calibers and knockdown and hearing me talk and stuff, she no longer wanted the pew pew. But we never got rid of it. This was her very first gun, and again, the SR22 is a fabulous, fabulous gun. So the next one that she went to was the Glock 43. So, at the time that she picked this up, this was a very popular pistol. We had some police friends in the family and stuff that carried these as backups. So naturally, she's like, well, if they carry them, they must be good guns, And so this is the next one that we picked up for her. She shot well with it. It was reliable. No problem with that. But there was a reason why you didn't like putting it in your purse.
It didn't have a safety.
Didn't have a safety.
And I didn't feel comfortable putting it in the purse without a safety with kids, yes.
Right. So, she had the kids with her more than I did. And even though we ended up getting this little thing that you put in behind the trigger and you push it with your finger and it pops out.
No, it did. It went right here. It was a whole clip, and you pushed it
So
out.
it basically covered the entire trigger guard, and you
So you
pushed a
couldn't
little
push it.
button and it sprung out or whatever. And she said she just didn't really feel comfortable with that, you know, and then low capacity. And our daughters was getting older. We wanted them to take concealed classes. She said, I don't want them to think it's okay to have a Glock
Without a safety.
without a safety. Funny thing is, our daughter,
One does.
our oldest daughter, ended up with a Glock 19, a purple one no less. But I don't think she carries it around in a purse.
She don't carry it in a purse. No.
Yeah. So, but overall, I mean, you liked this gun, right? I mean, you
No,
did.
I liked the gun. I mean, it shot good. It was good. It was just, I just didn't care because it didn't have the safety. Like
Right.
today, I would carry it, put it in my car, but I wouldn't put it in my purse.
Right. So it was just about the safety and the
Right.
5-pound trigger, and then you said something about low capacity.
Right.
And
Yeah. Well, I had to have an extra magazine.
you always had to carry an extra magazine, so I get that, and you know that's what made the 365 so popular. So, you know, again, at this point in time, I wasn't doing the channel at this time, but I was buying more guns. So she was becoming more intrigued by. I said, wait a minute, that might be a better option for me. So she went all the way from this to like just the complete other end of the spectrum. Well, no. I'm sorry. I missed one. That was actually the third one you had. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, we had that old crappy gun, yes. That
So the only one
eggshell.
we don't have here today, and the reason for that is because we sold it literally within a week of purchasing it. So she wanted something that was 9mm, right? I think at the time we bought this SR22, my business might have been hurting a little bit more when we bought this particular firearm because I was still building it. So we were really under the pressure of being on a budget, if you balling on a budget, as they say. So she started looking.
Keep balling. Don't buy that thing.
Don't buy that. Well, that's going to make a lot of people mad because, you know, because I talked a little bit of smack about this particular firearm before, and people really get mad. People get real mad about their budget-friendly guns, but it was the Sky Robin Egg Blue. I think it's I can't remember the numbers on those Skies. I never did mess with them very much. Something X1.
I can't remember.
Something like that. But it was a Robin Egg Blue. She really liked the look, the color of it and everything like that. And because she didn't have one to hold at the time, we got the lady at the store to order it for us. And when it came in and you first held it like in the store, you was like, oh man, you know, what have I done?
Right.
And why did you say that? Is it just, you said it was just real thick?
Yeah, I was like, my hands was trying to put around it. It just didn't feel right.
Right. But we was going to give it a shot anyway. It was a 9mm. We had done bought it. It was a little over $200. Like, we're in it now. So we leave straight from there and we go to the range. Your finger bleeds.
Yes.
Yeah. So your finger bled bad.
The gun
actually
didn't look blue when we were finished from
Yeah.
all the
GSR. Yeah,
yes.
but I mean, you know, that's going to happen. You can't really dog it for that. But I just remember.
But I wasn't going to keep shooting it. I was ended up bleeding.
Literally bleeding from the
Right.
trigger, and couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. Like
Right.
you almost cried that day, if I remember correctly, because you thought something was wrong with the gun. I took it, and I was able to get on paper, but still nowhere near accurate. The trigger was the reason you were bleeding from the trigger is because the trigger was just so horrible. It was just that bad. You couldn't hit anything with it, and I'm like, man, that's terrible. And it really was. It's a bad gun. So I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. And I know that's unpopular to say, but that's just the facts. It was bad, especially for a woman. Now, you know, some of you men out there, and if you women that carry it, I'm sorry, but that's again our opinion. So she had the Sky. So she had the Ruger, went straight to the Sky, went to the
Glock.
43X or 43, should I say, and then went to the Ruger LCRX. Now, how this happened, I have no idea. But she started hearing me talk about revolvers and revolvers being good for women to carry. And I'm like, yeah, babe, but this is a 357. I was like, okay, well, okay, I can put 38 special in it for you, you know. So I did that. We went to the range. She did get it. It's a little pricey, but we was in a little better position at that point in time. Went to the range. It was so funny because she preferred shooting the 357 out of it. She really did. She didn't want me loading up the 38 special. She wanted the 357. And sadly, I don't have that original video where she was shooting in the range. I filmed it with my phone. Again, we weren't doing the channel at the time. And I sent it to the people, the FFL that we bought it from, who happens to be a lady, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Miss Wells is a bad A, you know."
That's the one that made you bleed, isn't it?
This one made me bleed bad.
Yeah.
In so much that when she stopped carrying it, I bought an extended grip for it that had the that extra finger grip on there for me to grip it better. But yeah, shooting 357 out of this made me bleed like real bad. Like my finger kept hitting the front of the trigger, but she absolutely loved it and was really super accurate with it. And you wanted the one with the trigger. She said she wanted the option of being able to pull that back. She didn't like that long, crazy trigger pull of the double action. She looked at one that did not have the exposed hammer, and this one's a little recessed, but it's still exposed, and she could easily pull it back if she had to give her that lighter single action pull. She did like that. She carried this in a sticky holster, and she carried this for quite a while, actually. A good bit of time that she carried this gun, and had no complaints. Like, you didn't stop carrying it for
I'd have probably been carrying it still if you wouldn't have just said, let's go buy another one day.
Oh, so you putting that on me?
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. So what you're saying then is
No, the rose is my favorite. But yeah.
Well, she really liked the LCRX. Okay, Ruger LCRX. She really liked it. As she just said, she would still be carrying it today. So great option apparently for a woman, but that's not true what you just now said, because the CSX.
Yeah.
Okay, the CSX is what you took next, and I remember. Now you don't remember because you don't focus that much on the gun stuff as I do. But I bought this gun, and you just happened to be at the range with me, and you shot it.
And I told you I had to have that to carry.
Right,
I
and
do
you were
remember.
just lights out.
Yeah, we were at Blackstone.
Right.
Yep.
And you looked down at it, which is an indoor shooting range near where we are.
I didn't even know you bought that gun. I was asking, what kind of gun is this?
And she went with the range with me that day, and she's like, "Where is that?" Yeah, because usually she looks at it, it's like, well, they all look the same. It's a black gun, whatever. I asked her to do a comparison. Pick two guns to do a comparison. She said, okay, a black one and a black one. She thought they all looked the same. So, but she did shoot this gun that day, and she opened it up and looked and said, this thing holds 13 rounds, you know, because the LCRX, I believe, let me verify, because you know how the trolls are. It's only 5. So she gets 5 rounds in that. She said, man, this is 13. And she did really shoot well with this gun. She liked it because it had the safety. Mm-hmm. It's an ambidextrous safety. She liked it for that reason. Why this gun never really took off, I don't know. She liked the thickness through the grip. That didn't bother her. She liked everything about this. In fact, she would be in the store sometime, and she would hear another woman in there talking about it. Yeah, she would go over there and talk to her for 5 minutes about all the reason why she needed the CSX. This is probably the weirdest one out of all of these, because I'm sure nobody expected this gun to come out in this setting today, because it just never really did. It never really was a popular gun. In fact, I've been trying to sell it now for almost 2 years and can't. I dropped the price all the way to like $250 one time and still couldn't sell it. I don't know if it had problems. Again, I don't really look at other people's reviews, but she never had a problem with it.
Nope.
And the thing that I like so much about it is it was one of those guns that if I would go to the range, she would want to go and shoot it.
I forgot about that one, yeah.
You know, she'd like, hey, I want to go shoot my CSX. I mean, anytime I would mention another gun, she's like, nope, I got my CSX. That's like, and she knew everything about this gun. She didn't know everything about the LCR and the Ruger and the Glock, but she knew everything about this gun. So honestly, I never thought that she would deviate from this. This would be her forever gun. Now, with that said, what she means by, oh, if you would not have went out and bought me another gun.
Well, I would probably still be carrying that, but you came home one day with a box after I fussed. Yeah.
Right. So I
forgot about that CSX.
So for Christmas, I got her the 365 Rose, and she was like, "Wait a minute, I've shot your 365. That thing recoils hard. I don't like it." And I'm like, "Oh man." I'm like, "Yeah, but wait a minute now. This is a 380. This is not a 9mm." And she was like, "Okay." And just in true Amanda fashion, she was there talking about, "Yeah, I like this," sending pictures, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, she's in that. She really don't like it. She's just saying that because I got it for Christmas, and it come in this big grand package that said the rose on it and all of that stuff. She
Came
really
with a
does.
safe and everything.
Came with a little safe and all of that stuff, yeah." And I'm like, "Man, I done messed up. You done messed up, AA Ron." And so we go to the range. It did not have an optic on it at that time. We go to the range. We're shooting this. She's doing really well with it without an optic, okay? But she's not saying whether or not she likes it. She never did really say that at that time. And so she goes to, and well, actually, I had another gun with me there that day at the range that had this optic on it, this Romeo X. I forget which gun it was. It's a gun that I had bought for review, and I put the Romeo. It might have been the little Legion AXG 365. I don't remember. And she said, "Can I get one of these on mine?" So I'm sure. I would have never thought you would have wanted that, you know. And so we did. We put it on there, and
had to send it back.
Yeah, well, we did have to send it back. Had to send several of these back actually, but this one's actually been doing pretty good and better. Yeah, it's on.
Well, no, they were scratched. The other
They were scratched. One
gouges.
of them, the shake awake stopped working. So yeah, we've had some trial and errors with these but it's doing good now. And she was out here at the range in another video that we was doing. If I can find it, I'll put it in. I'll tag it in this one. And she shot my 365 380 that does not have an optic, and she was like, "There's my girl." Like, I mean, she was just boom, 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 just lights out. I've never seen her shoot better with a carry gun. Now, she shot better with large guns that she's never going to carry, sure. But with a carry gun, I've never seen her shoot better with a gun than she shot with this one. And we did shoot all of these guns today that you've naturally saw me overlaying the video with her shooting these guns today, because what I have found is there's been times that I'm like, I'm just going to sell that gun. It's been sitting in the safe all this time. I'm never going to carry it. I'm selling it. I'll take it out and get to playing with it, and I'm like, man, I don't
like
know,
this
man.
thing.
Yeah, I kind of like this. And then I'll take it to the range and like, hey, I remember I was really good with this thing. And so I thought that I would do that today. I brought all of her carry guns except for the Sky, which we sold same week we bought it. And I said, reshoot all of them. Shoot this one, this one, this one, this one. And after having done all of that, shooting all of her carry guns, this is not an extensive list for everyone, just her. It's one person's opinion. So after having shot all of them, take out of the equation that this was a Christmas gift, because let's face it, all of these were pretty much gifts. In order, which ones do you prefer, and which one do you still prefer overall?
Overall, the number one would be the Rose.
Still the Rose.
Number two would be the CSX. Number three would be
the Revolver.
Revolver. Number four would be the 43, and then the 22.
Although you did good with the 22.
Oh, I like the 22, yeah.
But it's a pew pew.
It's a pew pew. That'd be my least favorite.
So it's a little.
So it'd be my Rose and CSX and the
Rose, CSX,
the Revolver,
the LCRX Ruger, and the 43X. And why do you choose this one over all of those? I mean, as far as like, just other than the fact that you shoot better with it than any of
It
the rest.
just feels natural in my hand.
Right.
The recoil's good.
It manages recoil, yeah.
Right.
I mean, all of these, besides the Ruger, obviously are snappy guns, every one of them. Although you really seem to like it on the revolver for whatever reason. But she's been a little camera shy, but what she told me off camera is because
Yeah, I don't like the camera stuff, but I'm doing it today for him.
it felt better in the hand. It has an ambidextrous safety. So that made her feel good about carrying it in her purse. It does have an optic, but it's still very concealable.
It fits good in my little console in the Jeep.
Right. It's still very concealable. It has the co-witnessing sights. And so she was going on about all of that. And I do think it's a very good carry option for a woman. And, you know, at the rate that she can put them on target,
And I can wear it in my leggings when I walk and exercise, and it don't weigh it down.
Right.
Because
And
I
it
have
doesn't
that.
print,
Right.
nothing like that. Yeah. And the LCRX is probably, you know, it's very small too, but it's
got a little bit of
heavy.
weight on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yes. So I couldn't put them in my exercise.
And the CSX is thick. It's a thick girl.
And it does ride down with the leggings, but not as bad as the revolver.
Not as bad as the revolver.
Right.
And the 43X, it probably conceals. She told me that it conceals.
I'm scared to put it there because if I hit that trigger, it's going to shoot my thigh.
Right.
Because of my pants.
Which most people are going to say that's never going to happen, but you know, but if it bothers you,
it bothers me.
Right.
Yes.
You know, but she said that this one conceals about the same as the 365. They're almost identical in size. So as far as concealability, the 43X for sure. She shot better with the CSX, surprisingly. But either way, that is just the evolution of one woman's.
Now, if I was just driving in my Jeep,
right,
and I wasn't concealing, I could just lay it in my console, lay it in my little holder, whatever. The 43 would be good.
Right.
I just don't feel comfortable putting it on my person.
Right, but the best gun or in your purse.
Right.
Yeah. But the best gun that you've ever shot with, like just lights out, is the one that's beside your nightstand right now. Is the
That's a full size.
Right,
though.
the P320 AXG Legion. She never has quit talking about that. But again, it is a full size gun, so you know if that one could be in your thing beside the Jeep, that would be a good one for you too. Right. But anyway, that's one woman's evolution of her carry, what her opinions are. I know she didn't say a whole lot, but you did get to see her shoot them. I did put some videos up of each one of the guns, except for the Sky. It's gone. But anyway, we do thank you so much for watching. Special shout out to the 3 people. Their names are slipping me right now. I think one of them is Daniel Forrest, and I forget Justin. For going over and supporting us on Patreon. Genuinely cannot explain how much we appreciate that. And we invite others to go over there, check us out. We will try to put up a $10 tier, maybe some higher ones, once we can figure out how to put up exclusive content. We hope the video wasn't too long. We really do hope you enjoyed it. And be sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure just to subscribe. That helps us out a ton. Check me out on Rumble. And as always, make sure you know Jesus Christ is your Savior. And to God be the glory.